Have you ever noticed how some Japanese seniors, even at 70 or 80 years old, walk lightly, upright, without visible pain, while here, many people just past 60 already wake up with their bodies feeling stiff? This is not luck, and it is not genetics. The truth is that there is a simple ritual of 4 movements that older Japanese adults perform every morning, even before having breakfast. These movements are so gentle that they barely feel like exercises, yet they awaken deep muscles, realign the joints, and reactivate areas of the body that gradually shut down over the years. And that is exactly why they work so quickly. Because after 62, the problem is not lack of gym workouts. It is internal rigidity, accumulated microtensions, and blockages that interfere with circulation, make the legs heavy, the lower back stiff, and the shoulders tight. In 2022, a study from the University of Tsukuba showed that light morning mobility practices, like the ones Japanese seniors use, increase muscle oxygenation and reduce the sensation of stiffness throughout the day by up to 47% in people over 60. And the best part? These 4 movements require no stretching, no strength, no conditioning, only precision and the right way to perform them. And that is what you're about to learn now. But before we continue, let me tell you something no one has told you. If your joints feel stuck when you wake up, if your legs feel heavy in the morning, or if your spine seems to get stiffer each day, this is not your fault. There is an internal, silent process that begins to block the nerves and restrict movement as we age, and understanding this changes everything. These 4 Japanese movements will help you relieve that stiffness, but they are only the first step, because what truly unlocks the mature body and makes you move lightly, smoothly, and firmly again like years ago, I explain in the special presentation linked in the description. Before we continue, if you are over 60 and feel back pain, knee stiffness, constant fatigue, or that sensation that your body no longer responds like before, I prepared a free presentation revealing the real cause behind this loss of mobility and how to reactivate your body's natural regeneration process in 7 days. The link is below in the description and in the pinned comment. Watch while it is still available. Now let's continue, because your body is going to feel the difference. If you wake up with a heavy body, if your legs seem slow to respond, or if your lower back feels like it rusts overnight, there is a reason for that, and it is more common than you think. After 60, small internal structures called fascia begin to lose elasticity. They are like tissues that wrap around muscles, nerves, and joints. When they are healthy, the body moves like a well-lubricated machine. When they harden, everything becomes stiff. And this fascia rigidity is exactly what the Japanese learned to awaken early in the morning, before the body spends the whole day compensating for incorrect movement pattern. The problem is that if you do not activate these areas early on, your body enters a cycle of slower circulation, muscles that switch off, joints that lose fluidity, pain that accumulates throughout the day. And this has nothing to do with old age. It has to do with lack of simple, precise stimulation. A report from the Japan Geriatric Society showed that seniors who perform microactivation movements in the morning have nearly double the mobility compared to those who try to fix the problem only with walking or traditional stretching. In other words, it is not about working harder. It is about doing the right movement, the right way, at the right moment. And this is why these 4 Japanese movements make such a difference. And this fascia rigidity is exactly what the Japanese learned to awaken early in the morning, before the body spends the whole day compensating for incorrect movement patterns. The problem is that if you do not activate these areas early on, your body enters a cycle of slower circulation, muscles that switch off, joints that lose fluidity, pain that accumulates throughout the day. And this has nothing to do with old age. It has to do with lack of simple, precise stimulation. A report from the Japan Geriatric Society showed that seniors who perform microactivation movements in the morning have nearly double the mobility compared to those who try to fix the problem only with walking or traditional stretching. In other words, it is not about working harder. It is about doing the right movement, the right way, at the right moment. And this is why these 4 Japanese movements make such a difference. Because they wake up the body from the inside, little by little, releasing deep tensions you didn't even realize you had. Now that you understand what is truly locking your body, it's time to learn the first movement. And when you do it, you will feel the difference immediately. We're going to start with the simplest movement. And for many people, the most transformative one. The Japanese call it the joint awakening because it activates small joints that remain inactive through the entire night. When these joints wake up, the muscles and nerves around them begin to function better almost instantly. How to do it? Sit on the edge of your bed with your feet fully resting on the floor. Relax your shoulders. Now lift only your heels, keeping your toes on the floor. Then do the opposite. Raise your toes while keeping your heels on the ground. Repeat this back and forth motion slowly for 20 to 30 seconds. It sounds simple, but that's exactly the point. This small movement activates the deep muscles of the calves, loosens the ankle, one of the joints that most influence balance, and pumps blood back upward, awakening circulation. Many people feel within seconds a warm wave rising through the legs. Others describe it as turning the body on, as if their legs finally start responding again. And this happens because by alternating heels and toes, you send a direct signal to nerves that were asleep during the night. This movement alone already helps with leg stiffness, heaviness in the legs, difficulty getting out of bed, tightness in the hips. But it's only the beginning. Now that your joints are waking up, let's move on to movement 2, which releases tension hidden in the most neglected area of the body. If there is one region that stores tension without us noticing, it is the hip. And after 60, this deep tension begins to affect everything. Your walking pattern, your balance, your lower back, and even circulation in the legs. That is why the second Japanese movement is known as the silent hip release. You will feel it working in areas you didn't even know were tight. How to do it? Stay seated on the edge of the bed. Place your hands on your thighs just to keep your torso stable. Now slide one knee slightly forward while the other moves slightly back. Then switch. The one behind moves forward. Keep alternate as if you were walking while seated for 20 to 30 seconds. Slowly, without effort, without rushing. This small alternating shift activates deep hip muscles and loosens the fascia that becomes stuck there overnight. It is like unlocking the center of the body. Many people feel an internal release, a soft shift. Others report that their lower back instantly feels lighter, and it makes sense. This Japanese movement helps improve hip pain, lower back stiff, short, restricted steps, difficulty standing up from a chair, the sensation of locking in the groin. When the hip releases, the rest of the body begins to cooperate, and now that you've awakened your joints and released your hips, it's time for the movement that activates the central axis, the part responsible for posture, balance, and the feeling of stability. Now that your legs and hips have begun to switch on, it's time to awaken the central spine, the region that controls your posture, your balance, and even your breathing. The Japanese call this movement the central spine awakening because it activates small, deep muscles that support your entire structure, but that become invisible as the years pass. How to do it? Stay seated, with your spine upright but without stiffness. Rest your hands gently on your knees. Inhale through your nose and gently push your chest forward, as if creating space between your ribs. As you exhale, slowly round your back, letting your torso lean slightly forward. Repeat this open and close motion for 20 to 30 seconds. This is not stretching. This is not strength. It is gentle mobility, exactly the kind of stimulus the mature body responds best. With each repetition, you will feel your spine warming up, your breathing becoming easier, the stiffness in your lower back decreasing, a wave of relief rising from your back up to your neck. This movement is powerful because it unlocks communication between the nerves of the spine and the rest of the body. When this region wakes up, even the legs become more stable. And here is something interesting. Many older Japanese adults say that this simple open and close of the spine is what prevents that morning lock-up feeling. Now that you've activated your central axis, here comes the final movement, the one that integrates everything and leaves the body light, stable, and ready for the day. We've reached the last movement, the one that ties everything together. If the first three awakened your joints, hips, and spine, this one integrates the entire body, improves balance, and creates that sense of lightness many people feel on the very first morning. The Japanese call it the global awakening. How to do it? Still seated, place your feet firmly on the floor. Let your arms rest loosely at your sides. Now gently rotate your torso to the right, as if looking over your shoulder. Return to the center, then repeat the movement to the left. Continue alternating for 20 to 30 seconds. Do not force anything. Imagine your torso is pressing out old air and pulling in new air each time you return to the center. This simple movement loosens the fascia around the waist, activates deep abdominal muscle, improves coordination between spine, hips, and legs, automatically enhances posture when you stand up. Many people describe a feeling of clarity, as if the body performs an internal reset, and that is exactly what it does. When you complete these 4 movements, the body fully wakes up, the joints glide better, circulation improves, the muscles respond, and the day begins with much more lightness and confidence. But let me tell you something important. These movements are incredible, but if you feel persistent pain, stiffness that does not go away, or that sensation of being locked from the inside, there is something deeper happening, something the Japanese discovered decades ago, and that explains why so many people over 60 suffer from pains that do not start in the muscles, but in an internal blockage that no one talks about. And once you understand this, everything changes. If these 4 movements made your body respond, if you felt lighter legs, less stiffness, or even that sensation of unlocking, then pay close attention now, because what you just felt is only the surface. The real reason so many people after 60 struggle with pain, stiffness, heavy legs, burning feet, and difficulty getting up is not in the muscles. It is not in the joints. And it has nothing to do with age. There is an internal, silent process that begins to block the nerves, stiffen the fascia, and prevent the body's natural regeneration. This is the blockage that is sabotaging your mobility. And the worst part, almost no one talks about. No one talks about it because it is not profitable. The pharmaceutical industry prefers to sell expensive medications, anti-inflammatories that only hide the problem, and treatments you have to repeat for the rest of your life, actually solving the issue. They have no interest in that. But I recorded a short presentation revealing exactly what is happening inside the mature body and why so many people over 60 are managing to regain mobility, reduce pain, and move freely again without medications, without orthopedic specialists, and without depending on anyone. The link to watch is below, in the description and in the pinned comment. There is just one detail. I don't know how long this presentation will remain available. Whenever this kind of content starts getting visibility, someone tries to take it down, limit its reach, or report it, because it goes against very powerful interests. So if you truly want to understand what is locking your body from the inside and want to discover how people over 60 are moving again with firmness, lightness, and energy, watch it now while it's still online. It is a simple, natural, and powerful opportunity, and it may be the step that changes your next years. Click the link and watch before it's taken down path 1. Continue as you are. Keep living with the stiffness that shows up every morning, the pains that slowly increase, the fear that your back or knee might lock up, the constant feeling of fatigue, and the frustration of watching your body become more limited each week. It is the path of waiting, of inertia, of maybe it will get better on its own. But the truth is simple. Nothing changes unless you change the stimulus your body receives, and ignoring what is happening inside only prolongs the pain, the fear, and the suffering. Path 2. Take the step that transforms. Watch the free presentation and finally understand what is truly blocking your body from the inside and how to reactivate the natural regeneration process that still exists within you. It is a path of solutions, of clarity, of real relief, of autonomy, of reclaiming the mobility, lightness, and vitality you thought you had lost forever. In this presentation, you will learn how to release internal tensions, reactivate deep muscles, unlock compressed nerves, and make your body respond the way it used to, or even better. And you can do all of this right at home, without medications, without pain, and without depending on anyone. Now the choice is yours. 2 paths, 2 completely different futures. If you want to keep feeling heavy and restricted, continue as you are. But if you want to move again with lightness, strength, and freedom, watch the presentation while it is still online. The link is in the description and in the pinned comment. This may be the step that changes not just your body, but your next years.